You know, I'm looking at all this Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch nonsense on Twitter yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is pretty badass. I'm sure everybody was thinking that this was pretty badass. But at the same time, I'm thinking, man, is this fucking cringe. There's just so many logic holes into this entire thing. And I can obviously see why Vince McMahon is reportedly upset about this entire interaction. I mean, if I'm Vince McMahon, I'm not going to be as upset. As long as it's rammed by me and I give the okay, then fine. But apparently both women went about this themselves with the help of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was the mastermind behind this, and he had at least something to do with what was done and what was said, which we will discuss in a second. But I know how damaging Twitter can be. I know how great Twitter can be. I've seen people's careers ruined because of Twitter. Twitter could be great for any number of reasons. Small business, or a major corporation, a home business, someone like myself. It's great. Someone like myself get the word out there about a new video. Hashtags are powerful as can be. Some people don't realize the power of a hashtag. I know how great they are because I use them every Monday and Tuesday night, and I know. It's a great way to get new eyes on what you're doing. If you're a small business or a home business and you got a new product out there or a new line of merchandise, if you are holding an event or a charity event of some sort, if you're going to be attending a certain event, whatever. It's a great way to get the word out there about where you're going to be and what your business is doing. Fast food restaurants, even though I don't eat it. New items on the menu, new deals, new this, new that, new item, blah, blah, blah. You know? I follow many a brewery or bars on social media. New beers coming out for the season, now available or coming soon, etc., etc. New items at a select brewery that I want to attend or go to. This is what we're serving today. Could be bad. A lot of people tweet and delete. Just look at Lars Sullivan. Dumbass. A lot of people go on rants like Corey Graves. Dumbass. Some people say things that they are not thinking in the moment, and they post it anyway, only to look back at it an hour later and then delete it. Meanwhile, everybody's got a screenshot of it. I've done it, you've done it, everybody's done it. Obviously, social media comes with a lot of hate as well. I know about that. Everybody knows about that if you're in the public limelight. The Twitter trolls and the cretins don't have anything else better to do, so I don't really put blame on them solely. It's the fact that they were raised miserably, and they're a bunch of low-life losers. But I can see why WWE is upset about this, or mainly Vince McMahon. But Twitter, if used right, can be a great thing. WWE even has social media classes down at the Performance Center for everybody training on how to use social media correctly. Triple H even mentioned this in one of the TakeOver conference calls not too long ago, that social media could be a great thing. And if you don't use it, it could be a fucking terrible thing for your career. You know? With power comes great responsibility. Use it wisely. Now, I want to go over all of this social media nonsense with Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. And I want to go and read, tweet by tweet, what they said. And I want everybody to understand why I understand why Vince McMahon is upset. I want to read them to you, and I want to go over the logic holes that are in each of these tweets. So let's do that. And then we got news on why everybody was so up in arms about what happened between Becky and Ronda. Now, Becky immediately says, and I would have screen grabbed these for you guys, but I'm just lazy today and I don't feel well, so you guys can go to Becky Lynch's Twitter account and see all of this fucking circus that happened over there. She says this, and I quote, "Ronda, you go back and get that belt." She used the word belt, number one. Number two, she capitalized the word belt. I don't know why, but I have a good reason why. Ronda, you go back and get that belt because I didn't come this far to collect it from Stephanie. I came all this way to take it from you, she says. Now, she capitalized the word belt, B-E-L-T. WWE strictly forbids their commentators or anybody in the company to use the term belt as a way to describe championships. Vince McMahon has always thought that belt is something that holds up your pants. It's not something that is used to describe a championship. And she capitalized it, probably knowing that Vince hates it, and she's throwing a nice little jab at Vince indirectly. So that probably got him set off right away. What is this? Belt. You know? I don't have them use that word on television. So Ronda Rousey goes and follows this up with, that's what I'm trying to do, dumbass. You hobbling around trying to be a ginger crutch ninja and taking fake prison photos in the hallway isn't helping. So if belt didn't get Vince, this certainly got Vince. Fake prison photos in the hallway isn't helping. You might as well have taken a shotgun blast to the word kayfabe. Dead. And Ronda Rousey, by the way, was mentioning the prior tweet in which Becky Lynch put a photo of her mugshots from Raw after being arrested by the Atlanta PD. Quote unquote. Fake prison photos in the hallway isn't helping. It's a great way to kill all kayfabe in WWE, and Vince hates that. So I could see at this point why he is very angry. So Becky follows up and says this. Keep the F word out of your mouth and concentrate on getting better at this business instead of trying to remain above it. Looking forward to seeing you real soon. Pretty tame. Pretty tame. A lot tamer than the previous tweet she put out was Becky Lynch. But Ronda Rousey adds more fuel to the Vince McMahon fire. Now, with this one, Vince has fucking lava seeping from his nose, and he's got steam coming out of his ears. He's beet red, like brother love. She says this, and I quote, F word, you mean fake? So, the word fake being used to describe anything wrestling related is usually a big no-no. Fake like your nonsensical bullshit, quote-unquote, armbar that doesn't even work and just looks like you're holding the dick you wish you had. Let's backtrack here. First of all, she used the word fake, and then she used the word fake to describe Becky Lynch's armbar. And in this tweet was a photograph of Becky Lynch applying the armbar to Ronda Rousey on Raw the night she invaded for the Survivor Series. The same night that Becky Lynch had her nose broken by Nia Jax. I'm looking at Ronda Rousey in this nonsensical bullshit fake armbar. And then she goes on to add, it looks like you're holding the dick that you wish you had. Vince now is at a point where he wants to nuke both of their social media accounts. This is wrong by all accounts. But Becky Lynch follows up, and being the man, she has to get the last fucking jab in. She goes on to take the same photo of putting Ronda Rousey in the armbar, in the disarmor, same picture, but instead of Ronda's fist, the end of Ronda's fist is now with a picture of Travis Brown's head, Ronda Rousey's husband. And she says, huh? It does look exactly like one now that you mention it. Now it looks like a dick now that you mention it, being that Travis Brown's face is now on Ronda Rousey's arm while she's in the disarmor. Ronda Rousey follows this up with, Rebecca Quinn, I don't care what the script says. I'm beating the living shit out of you the next time I see you. And then Becky Lynch follows up finally, and it ends after this, and says this, and I quote, Ron, you still mad, bro? Just checking because you went full Russo earlier. Wanted to make sure you made it back okay. Ronda Rousey, and I'm going fucking Sean's view over here. I wanted to do fucking Vince Russo. Let me tell you something, bro. I can mix both of them up. Let me tell you something, bro. Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch, bro. No, it doesn't sound good. Let me tell you something, bro. Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania does not need Charlotte Flair, bro. It should be for the Raw Women's title, bro. Vince, I emailed you 6 or 7 different times in the last 24 hours, bro. Why aren't you getting back to me, bro? I could make Monday Night Raw great again, bro. All right, enough. My baby daughter, Becky Lynch. All right, enough fun and games. I could see why Vince McMahon is upset here. I could see why. Now, I want to bring some logic to this the best way that I can. I want you guys to backtrack to Monday Night Raw just this past week, Monday Night Raw. Out of everything that happened on Monday Night Raw, this storyline with Becky and Ronda and Charlotte was sandwiched in between Roman Reigns and Batista. I want you to think logically for a second. Now, nothing was going to trump Roman Reigns and his announcement that his leukemia is in remission. Nothing was going to trump Batista. First of all, nobody knew Batista was going to do what he did. It was a shock to everybody. It was so shocking that it went fucking viral on WWE's YouTube channel. I think it's sitting at like 7 million views or something, probably more. So nobody expected Batista to come out and crash the birthday party and attack Ric Flair. And then set up a match with Triple H. It was rumored. I thought Batista was going to be there, but I didn't think Batista was going to do what he did. So you're going to sandwich Becky Lynch and the arrest of Becky Lynch. In between this, it looks like third place to me. Did it feel like a WrestleMania main event to you? After everything that happened on Monday Night Raw with the other stuff that happened? No, it didn't. Leave it to WWE to drop the ball on it. They will easily go out of their way to make everything else look and feel much more important than what we got going on here. And this has been building since November. This is your main priority. So for the fact that the women did this on Twitter, I don't blame them in that aspect. Do you trust WWE to continue to build interest from your perspective on this storyline going into WrestleMania? We got 5 weeks till WrestleMania. Do you trust WWE to continue doing what they need to do? No, I don't. So the women took it upon themselves to get the word of mouth out there and get people excited. Hey, remember us? Yeah, we're not Batista or Roman Reigns, but you better be fucking paying attention because we're the main event. So I don't blame them for doing what they did because coming out of Monday Night Raw, it certainly didn't feel like the main event of WrestleMania to me at all. Now, I could see why Vince McMahon's upset using the word belt for whatever fucking reason. I mean, it's so fucking stupid and childish. You can't use the word belt in WWE. Fuck out of here, man. What is it? It's a fucking belt. It goes around your waist. I even catch myself not saying belt when I do commentary for House of Glory because I'm so conditioned on what Vince McMahon and the stories I hear about what Vince McMahon doesn't like. Championship or title is what he prefers. She capitalized the word belt just because she knows it's going to fucking infuriate the old man. Throwing the word fake around, Ronda Rousey did in the prison photos or with the prison photos in the hallway. Kayfabe dead. You might as well take a fucking a knife and fork into it. Done. Goodbye. Eat that shit up. And then we get this picture of Becky Lynch putting Ronda Rousey in the armbar with Ronda Rousey calling Becky Lynch's armbar, the disarmer, a bullshit, nonsensical armbar that doesn't even work. Fake. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just cringe. Now, you might look at it in a different way, But Ronda Rousey is in the armbar in this photo. Was it fake then? I mean, what's the ending of WrestleMania going to be? The only outcome I want to see is Becky Lynch putting the armbar on Ronda Rousey. So if Becky Lynch taps out Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, and then we go back and backtrack to this tweet, how stupid does Ronda Rousey look? How much of a clown does Ronda Rousey look? It's fucking ridiculous. So I can understand right here, if I cut it off here, why Vince McMahon was upset. And then Becky Lynch goes and takes it a step further and indirectly calls Ronda Rousey's husband a dick. And then Ronda Rousey calls Becky Lynch by her real name, Rebecca Quinn. I don't care what the script says. I'm beating the living shit out of you the next time I see you. WWE didn't like that. It went past the PG rating. Listen, this is a company that could so desperately use a little bit more realism, a little bit more of that real fight feel, with some real verbiage around. Do you know how fucking conditioned we are as fans to accept this fucking bullshit that you hear on fucking Monday Night Raw on SmackDown Live? This fucking garbage, cringe, nauseating verbiage that they use. Everybody sounds like a fucking android. People talk in the most fucking inhumane way. It's fake. It's fucking not real. No human being talks like these fucking people on TV. So the simple fact that they're bringing realism into it would never bother me if I'm Vince McMahon. Now, he may see it differently. It's his fucking company. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. But my God, does the company need to step away from this scripted fucking reality? What do you get so upset for? You got WrestleMania coming up, the biggest match that we could possibly ever have. Excuse me that the women went out there and made it somewhat interesting. A little bit more real. You fucking out of your mind? I have no problem with that. WWE, there were reports that WWE want to move slightly away from the PG. They want to push the envelope as far as they can. Now they're backtracking on, oh, it's not PG enough. Fuck you. Not PG enough. If I want PG, I'll go watch fucking Roman Reigns on Nickelodeon. Fucking ridiculous. Oh, the stockholders are not going to like it. Oh, the shareholders don't approve. Oh, Vince McMahon is angry. Well, maybe if you didn't treat them like third rate on Monday Night Raw, maybe none of this would have happened. I'm sorry the angle you booked on Monday Night Raw was lame and weak. Give me a break. Everybody's wondering when Becky Lynch is going to be added. They got to add some fuel to this fucking fire that's quickly going out. I'm not as interested in it anymore as I was during the Royal Rumble. Leave it to WWE to fuck everything up. Now, the other thing. People claiming women empowerment. What? Why do we have to go there? Like, these are the fucking cancers of the community. Women empowerment. Ronda Rousey's a douche. She has a dirty mouth. This is an idol or an inspiration to young women all over the globe. I'm sorry. Ronda Rousey is a fucking fighter who's in the main event of WrestleMania defending her championship. She's being pushed around by her opponent. I'm sorry if blood is gonna be shed. This is a combat sport, motherfucker. Fuck you, women empowerment. Don't even bring it to the fucking table. They're doing what they have to do because the company didn't give them enough resources to do what they needed to do for them. Women empowerment. You want to use that for the sake of using it because you want to bring some notoriety to yourself. And in the end, you're making yourself look like a fucking imbecile. Give me a break. Now, on the other hand, with this women empowerment bullshit, Ronda Rousey can't come out shaking hands, waving and being all smiley when she comes to Monday Night Raw. Fuck that. She should have never been doing that to begin with. It's another one of those WWE agendas, one of those WWE initiatives that they have to have Ronda Rousey go out there, waving around, shaking hands and fucking smiling all over the place. Happy to be here. Bitch, you're in the WWE and you're defending the title at WrestleMania against someone who is legitimately burying you every chance they got on social media. What the fuck are you smiling about? What are you smiling about? There's nothing to be smiling about from here on out. Ronda Rousey should not be smiling again this WrestleMania season. I don't give a shit. She's not accepting an Academy Award. She's not fucking sitting around at the dinner table laughing at a fucking joke that her husband said. This is a fucking fight! Not for the shit. Smiling Ronda Rousey. You see Becky Lynch? Smiling around. Fucking ridiculous. You don't see Brock Lesnar coming out smiling. He's only smiling because he's laughing at all of us fucking idiots. He's laughing because he's got fucking $6.5 million heading his way at the end of his WWE contract. He don't give a fuck. Gets in the ring, he bounces around like a fucking ape. And he's making $750,000 per appearance. Who gives a shit? Cut the shit. Women's empowerment. Ronda's a douche. She's a bad inspiration. There are reasons why this was done. There were reasons why it sucked. Which I agree on the reasons why it was done. I agree on why it sucked and it was cringe at points. But this is a fighter. Ronda Rousey is a fighter. We don't need this to be PG. This has been building since October, November. Give me a break. This is the biggest. Stephanie said it herself. This could potentially be the biggest main event in WWE history, if done right. But this needed to be done. Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch did this because coming out of Raw, they did not feel like the main event of WrestleMania 35. Now, with what happened here, Dave Meltzer actually went into detail on this. Rousey has been working with Heyman. Heyman and Rousey meet often to discuss storylines, with Paul advocating for her character with creative and helping to mold all the segments you see with Ronda Rousey. There's no better man to do that than Paul Heyman. Maybe Ronda needs a little bit of work on her promo, but Paul Heyman is the best you could get for a situation like this. Rousey needs to be booked like Brock Lesnar. And being that Heyman has done such a masterful job with Brock Lesnar, I'm guessing WWE is hoping that he could do the same with Ronda. Now, Paul Heyman is backstage on most weeks, even if he or Brock Lesnar are not actually appearing on the show. Of course, having Heyman around gives WWE the luxury of booking Lesnar's advocate in a segment, which has happened a time or two before as well. Paul Heyman also has a creative part in the recent social media battle that we just went over with Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. However, WWE has not been thrilled with the non-PG content going down on their timelines right now. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Live that although Paul Heyman probably isn't 100% responsible for this, it definitely fits in with his reputation. I agree. There was a lot of I don't give a fuck attitude in that entire breakdown on social media. So I could definitely see Paul Heyman being at least a part of it on Thursday afternoon. Everything with Ronda is in some form, he says, Dave Meltzer says. Everything with Ronda is in some form. It's not like it's all Paul Heyman. It's not all Paul Heyman, but everything's going to have Paul Heyman fingerprints on it because he's very hands-on with this, and that's his complete MO. It's not what he's done before, but I know him. This is how he thinks, end quote. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. And that's a great way sometimes to go about things. Don't give a shit. WWE wants attention towards their feuds, and it looks like Rousey and Lynch are getting plenty of eyeballs on their online back and forth. Now, we will have to wait and see what happens next because Ronda Rousey certainly surprised us a couple of times with what she said to Becky Lynch on social media already. The WrestleMania main event is going to be very highly promoted, I hope, on top of everything else that they got going on right now. And WWE is letting Paul Heyman input what he really wants to shape this rivalry. As Heyman continues to advocate for both Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar backstage, you never know who might be next for him, as both Lesnar and Rousey could always be departing after WrestleMania. especially in Lesnar's case, as always in the rumor of Ronda Rousey taking a break after WrestleMania. So I don't understand what the problem is, but WWE wasn't thrilled with everything. Rousey said that Becky Lynch's disarm her makes it look like she's grabbing a dick. And then she straight up said that she's going to beat the shit out of her next time she sees her. Apparently, WrestleVotes chimed in on this as well, explained that this is not something the company is too thrilled about. They say, and I quote, Rousey Lynch Twitter stuff this afternoon. The word-for-word language was not approved by WWE. Don't be naive and think it was. Sure, WWE wants them to drum up attention to the storyline via social media, but they certainly aren't thrilled with some of the wording used. They got to tone back on that fucking PG shit, man. This is exactly what it needed to be, and the reasons I cited because of what happened coming out of Monday Night Raw, it felt third place. This is first place, and everything else should be following along. So the wording, in my eyes, is fine. It's just with, the not the wording, but the vibe of it was fine. You can't be throwing around the word fake. And you can't be calling Becky Lynch's finishing move fake when, realistically, that could be the probable ending of the main event of WrestleMania. And is it going to be fake then when Ronda Rousey is tapping out to this fake armbar? It's going to make her look like an idiot. And then using the word dick or beating the shit out of you next time I see you. Ronda Rousey calling the prison photos fake and taken in the hallway. I can understand why Vince McMahon is bad. If they worded it a little bit better and the vibe was still there, the intensity was still there, I don't think people would be complaining about this shit on Friday afternoon. But it had its ups, it had its downs, it had its positives, it had its cringe. So, either way you look at it, everything that they wanted to do worked. It got people talking. It got people excited. It's the main event of WrestleMania. And if they got people talking about their match or potential match or the main event match at WrestleMania, that is the only thing Vince, WWE, and everybody else should be concerned with. The fans in this instance, shut your fucking mouth and enjoy the ride. Vince and WWE, those women did exactly, it might not have been the exact way to go about it for some of those exchanges, but those women did exactly what you wanted them to do. They brought attention to the WrestleMania main event, and it got people talking. Simple. There's nothing more for me to say on what these two women did on social media. This is Off the Script, folks. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is episode 263. This is part number 2. We're going to hit the intro, and we'll be right back with more news and rumors right here on Off the Script. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth. And I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not. WWE's great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Kenny Omega, Okada. Sonny! What is it, Vince? Can I suck your dick? What is it, Vince? And this is the #1 fucking podcast. Right here on YouTube.com. This is Off the Script. Man, I will be very lucky if I get through this podcast in one piece. My stomach has been in fucking knots for the last 36 hours. I don't know what I ate, who I was around, but I've been in and out of my bathroom for about the last 36 hours, every half an hour. It's bad. Maybe it was the fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese. I don't know, man. But I hope I get through this podcast, and if I cut it early, it's because I'm not feeling well. So we got news today, man. We're going to go over some Batista news, some lingering news about Batista, how long he's going to be back. and all that stuff concerning his return to Monday Night Raw and him crashing Ric Flair's 70th birthday party on Monday Night Raw and setting up his match with Triple H at WrestleMania. We got news on Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Apparently, they're questioning why Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka are getting a tag team title shot at Sasha Banks and Bayley at Fastlane. I don't know, honey. Your guess is as good as mine. I questioned that as well on Monday when they made that nauseating announcement. Also, sad news on Howard Finkel, the greatest ring announcer of all time in professional wrestling. Howard Finkel, Jerry the King Lawler, I guess, mentioned it on his podcast. I don't know if it's, or how bad it is, or how serious it is, but he mentioned it on Dinner with the King, that Howard Finkel had a stroke, and he's not in the best of conditions. So we're going to go over that as well, right here on the podcast, man. I don't know where you guys are going to be today, but as you guys watch this, I will be in Atlantic City, New Jersey at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel. WWE is going to be in Philadelphia on Raw this coming Monday, and they're in Atlantic City this weekend. So if you guys are going to be at the Hard Rock Hotel, if you guys are going to be attending that house show at the Hard Rock Casino, I will be there. And if you see me, please do not hesitate to come up to me and call me a goon. Please stop me. I could be doing anything, man. I could be having dinner. I could be having a cold beverage. Come up to me and say what's up and call me an asshole. Whatever you want to call me, come up to me if you guys want to hang out. Let's get together, and I hope to see you guys out there, man. Atlantic City, the WWE's having a house show at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel. So if you guys are going, let me know down in the comment section, man. I'd be happy to just chat it up with you guys for a little bit. Man, I announced on the podcast yesterday that we have a new website. It's jdfromny.com. Easy enough, huh? You guys can remember it. But the link is down in the description if you guys are too lazy to go type it into your browsers by yourself. Link is down in the description, man. jdfromny.com. I'm going to have fun with this over the next couple of weeks. We got it set up. A lot of you guys have asked me if I'm ever going to get a website. It's done. It's up and running. Right now, I am taking everybody's email. I'm going to put everybody in a big email list. You guys can be a part of my mailing list. So please go and do that, man. We'll be updating you on content, meet and greets, what's happening WrestleMania weekend, stuff with House of Glory, new t-shirts when they go on sale, ideas we got, beer of the week. We're going to have band of the week, song of the week. It's going to be fun, man. Plus, on top of that, you're going to be up to date on all the content as well right here on the channel, man. So please go and subscribe to me on the website. Enter your email to be part of my mailing list, jdfromny.com. I got to shout out all you guys, man, on Bonfire, the Bonfire campaign. I looked at the numbers, man. 186 sold. That is unbelievable. 186 sold for the entire month of February. I thought JD's Negan was going to be the number one selling shirt forever. But you guys blew it away, man. JD's Elite is now the number one selling t-shirt that we've ever had associated with this podcast, man. And I want to make March even better, man. It's WrestleMania season. This is crunch time now, man. Go get yours. JD's Elite on Bonfire.com, the official home of the shirt. Off the script merchandise on Bonfire. Link will be down in the description at the very top, man. Go and get your t-shirts today and let me know, man. I got to shout out all you beasts who bought t-shirts, man. Some of these I might have ran through already, but why the hell not? We're going to go over them again. I got to shout out Ray, Harley, Scott, Sean, Samuel, Quentin, Luke, Joshua, Curtis, Anthony, Naz, Christopher, Donald, Derek, Jose. Got to shout out Matt. Got to shout out Simon, Rod Neal, Justin. I got to shout out Danny. I got to shout out Naylan, Jordan. I have to also shout out Leon ×2. Someone bought my JD Club shirt. I don't know who the hell that was, but thank you. No name associated with that. And Corey. Thank you so much, man. There's more here. Benjamin. I have, who else here? Gregory. I have Ramon, Franco, Brandon, Matt again, Jan, Crash, Preston, and Joshua, man. Unbelievable. The amount of guys that have come out and supported the JD's Elite t-shirt, man. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you so very much, man. If you guys want to be a part of my elite, Join the 186 right now strong who are a part of my elite. Bonfire.com/offthescript. You guys know the deal with my social media, man. JD from NY206. I'm not going to be having any back and forth with Becky Lynch. I don't want to get buried. But follow me on Twitter, man. It's also entertaining. JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell. And make sure you guys turn on all notifications. I would really appreciate that. If you guys want to follow me on Twitch as well, JD from New York. And if you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon, everybody got Off the Script Part 1 early. Mega early. So if you guys want to be a part of my Patreon list, man, you guys can do that. Please do so. That is JD from NY206. I got a shout out to Mika Vining pledging $5. Mike Plaza donating and pledging $5. And Wrestling with Brody pledging $5, man. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. Also, Russian KD just pledged as of today, $5, man. Thank you all so very much for supporting the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you missed them, recent videos, man. Fun fact, my haters are always the first. Roman Reigns announces his remission, his leukemia remission on Raw. SmackDown Live, Kevin Owens replaces Kofi Kingston, Sasha Banks and Bayley on NXT. AEW signs major independent star Brandy Rhodes scouting former WWE diva. Off the Script Extra went live on Thursday. And then yesterday, you guys know the deal. The sad truth of Roman Reigns returning to WWE. It may trigger some cretins out there in the community, man. Make sure you guys go and check all of that stuff out right there on the channel. Harry's, man, you guys know the deal with Harry's. Harry's.com/script. My biggest sponsor of the podcast. Why Harry's and why join one of the 10 million who have used Harry's? I'll tell you why, man. Harry's founders were actually tired of paying for overpriced, overdesigned razors. You know, the gimmicks that you see these other people use? These gimmicks from flex balls to vibrating heads or handles that look like spaceships. Tactics like this have been used in the industry to raise prices for decades. Now, they fixed that by combining a simple, clean design with quality, durable blades at a fair price. Harry's actually also bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 95 years. They've also received 20,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google alone. And if you are not happy with Harry's, they will give you a 100% quality guarantee behind every blade, man. If you're not in love with your shave, let them know, and they'll give you a full refund. What do you get in this $13 trial, man? You're going to get a razor handle. You got a choice of a color of your choice. Orange, navy blue, or evergreen. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade. Rich lathering shave gel and a travel blade cover as well, man. All for free. Listeners of my show can redeem this trial set at harrys.com/script. Make sure you go to harrys.com/script to redeem your offer and let them know I sent you to help support the show, man. Thank you guys so very much for all of that right here on the podcast. Let's hit the news. I got news on Batista and Batista's WWE return. People are already asking, when did Batista's WWE return come to be? Batista made his WWE return on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, and it looks like he will be sticking around through WrestleMania. A match against Triple H is now official without officially being confirmed. I think we kind of know where this is going. But this plan came to be very soon after the ink was drying on the contract. Now, Batista wanted to come back and face Triple H at WrestleMania years ago, but they were uncertain if Batista would ever be a success, so they passed on the idea. Years later, they are finally doing the program. I guess all it took was for him to do Guardians of the Galaxy and be some big movie star in Hollywood. Now they want to work with him. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that the plans for Batista versus Triple H were finalized this week. This certainly fits into the timeline of events where it was reported that Batista was talking to WWE about a match. Now, it was reported in the same week that Batista reportedly was up for hearing AEW's offer, but obviously that didn't pan out. Now, however, you never know what can happen in pro wrestling. It looks like Batista is getting the WrestleMania program with Triple H that he wanted years ago, so this is a great sign. How long is Batista's run in the WWE going to last? Batista returned to the WWE, we all know, but right now it is slated only through WrestleMania. Nobody knows if he will be competing after WrestleMania, but the likelihood of it right now is zero. Not only is Batista 50 years old, but he also has films in the pipeline. He's going to be featured in the upcoming Dune remake, and he spoke very highly about pursuing acting, unlike The Rock, who wasn't a great actor. He said The Rock was not a great actor. He didn't mean that as a slight on The Rock, but Batista wants to be in Academy Award-winning films. He wants to legitimately take his craft very seriously and not just do a movie for the sake of a paycheck or for the sake of doing a movie. Now, it's also possible that WWE will obviously offer Batista money to stick around and have some more matches. Triple H is his opponent right now, slated for WrestleMania, so that very well could be all Batista is wanting right now from the WWE. Imagine if Batista takes this money from WWE, does WrestleMania, and then shows up at Double or Nothing. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think the likelihood of that is going to happen. So I'm just throwing that fantasy thought out there for you guys. I don't think Batista would do that to the WWE. Batista is scheduled to be at Raw this coming Monday to continue his new old feud with Triple H while they take place in Philadelphia. Raw will be in Philadelphia this Monday. It should also be noted that this whole rivalry was sparked at the SmackDown 1000 episode when Batista said the only thing that Triple H hasn't done is beat him. Therefore, it only makes sense that Batista would return as a heel because the whole program is likely to focus on Triple H's hunt for retribution to get that win over the Animal. Or, I don't know why this report didn't mention the fact that Batista has been very candid, and I mentioned this not only on Friday's episode of Off the Script, but I mentioned this on Monday Night Raw as well. Or I mentioned it on Twitter, I believe I did. You know, Batista has been very candid about WWE not returning his calls and ignoring him. The idea was in place for Batista to team with Ronda Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. They wanted The Rock. They had plans for Batista, but then they ended up going with Kurt Angle, and they ignored Batista's phone calls. They never really gave Batista the time of day. There were reports going around that Vince McMahon didn't look at Batista as the same star he was back in the company, which was complete bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Everybody looks at Batista as a star, including Vince McMahon. But he was very vocal about wanting to come back and do a full year, house shows, live shows, pay-per-views, make the whole rounds for the entire year, wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania, retire, and go into the Hall of Fame. That's what he wants to do. I don't know how much of that is going to happen here. Maybe we get the Triple H match, and then maybe we get a retirement tour when Batista is done filming for next WrestleMania. I know there were rumors. There were actually rumors that Batista was slotted if Triple H couldn't make it for WrestleMania, that Batista versus The Undertaker was going to take place at WrestleMania, again in a rematch from their last WrestleMania match, which was definitely a classic. Probably Batista's best match, period, in my honest opinion. But we don't know how long his return is going to last. Right now, it's only through WrestleMania. He's scheduled to be at Raw. We'll take it day by day. Nobody should be thinking of, oh, how long is he going to be? What is he going to do next? Let's enjoy it in the moment that we have him. This Batista Triple H storyline is going to take a nice little chunk of real life and apply it to what we see on television. And I think that's great. Triple H is a master of the microphone. Every time he speaks, you listen. Batista getting in Triple H's face, especially after what he did to Ric Flair. This is going to be great fucking television, man. The television that we're going to see from these two is actually going to be better than the match itself at WrestleMania. I'm excited most about what these guys are going to say to one another on Monday Night Raw. That's what I'm looking forward to most, I think, out of everything on Monday Night Raw. So it's going to be exciting. Nobody should really be talking about when we're going to be seeing Batista next. Let's enjoy him for when we have him. The door is always open for him to come back and have a true retirement run, maybe another championship run, and a WrestleMania next year at, Tampa Bay, I believe was announced, or not really confirmed, but it's going to be in Tampa Bay. It's been reported in Tampa Bay, Florida. And Batista will end at WrestleMania 36. So we'll see what happens, man. Let's enjoy it for what we got now, because what we got with Batista and Triple H, or what's to come, it's going to be very good. Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's Woken gimmick could be over in WWE. WWE likes to own whatever they put on television. This is no shocker to anybody. This is why they decided to go with woken Matt Hardy instead of broken Matt Hardy, even though Hardy fought to gain the rights of his broken universe from Anthem Sports. However, the Hardy Boys' recent return on SmackDown Live clearly showed everybody that the woken gimmick is no more. The Hardy Boys actually knew that WWE was keeping them around for a while. But Matt Hardy continued to work the fans and teased he would be leaving, obviously to bring awareness to the Matt Hardy brand. Oh, is he going to jump to AEW? Are the Hardy Boys going to AEW? Are we going to see the Hardys versus the Young Bucks again? So clearly, Matt Hardy knew what he was doing. During an interview following their SmackDown return, Matt also hinted that fans might have seen the last of his woken Matt Hardy character, but the Hardy Boys are looking to recapture Tag Team Gold. They're looking to procure Tag Team Gold. He says, and I quote, "I know the last time people saw me was woken Matt Hardy. Well, I've learned to control the woken wonder inside of me, the woken brilliance inside of me, and together, everyone's going to learn that myself and Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy, we are unstoppable. We are indestructible. We are unkillable. The greatest tag team in all of space and time," end quote. Now, you never know what WWE could have in store for the Hardys, if they're going to show up on SmackDown Live or Monday Night Raw, or what they're going to do with the tag team division in general. But it appears that they are gunning straight for the tag team championships, and their eyes are on the Usos, possibly for WrestleMania, man. We don't know. The WWE could have realistically put the Hardys back together because the Usos legitimately have no other competition on SmackDown Live. New Day's done. The Bar's done. The Hardys would actually be a great match for the Usos, 2-on-2 at WrestleMania. Now, what I wish that they would do was, I don't know how many times I got to repeat myself. I feel like a fucking broken record. I feel like a nagging housewife who wants her husband to clean the fucking bathroom, but he refuses to. And if he does a fucking half-ass job, a shit job. I would love if these divisions were merged, man. The Hardys, the Usos, the New Day, and the Bar. Then you got, on Monday Night Raw, you got the Revival. That's 5 teams right there. Heavy Machinery. Authors of Pain when they come back. You got the team of Ricochet and Aleister Black. WWE could realistically have the best tag team division in God knows how long. They'd certainly have the best tag team division in wrestling if they merged these divisions and really took tag team wrestling to be serious. I would love to see that. I don't know what's taking them so long. Outside of the New Day and then the Bar and the Usos and now the Hardys on SmackDown Live, who do you got? Who do you got? The Miz and Shane McMahon are not really a tag team. That's going to go down south pretty fast. I wish WWE would do more to take care of the tag team division and make it special. I don't understand why they're just waiting and sitting. The Revival, they were given the tag team championships just as a way to shut them up. You know? WWE granted, how do you think the Revival feels? WWE granted Hideo Itami, Ty Dillinger releases, right? They let TJP go. The Revival's probably looking, man, I wish that was us. Why didn't we get so lucky to get our release? Because they knew, they made it well known. They made it well known that, you know, by wearing the FTR in their tights and interacting with the Young Bucks on social media and teasing a match with the Young Bucks. Now the AEW's up and running. You see, all the bad-mouthing that the Revival did on social media ended up biting them in the ass. They could have gotten their release if they kept their mouth shut. Possibly. I'm not saying 100%, but possibly. Ty Dillinger never complained. Ty Dillinger was always gracious. He always was thankful. They granted him his release. If the WWE doesn't find any value in the Revival, which I'm sure they didn't up until the point in which they complained, but at that point they were complaining to everybody on social media. They tagged the Young Bucks. Remember this tweet. The Young Bucks versus the Revival will happen. Remember this tweet. WWE seeing this, they weren't going to let them go because they knew exactly where they would end up on May 25th. They're not stupid. So, the Revival, I mean, they were given the tag team championships after bitching and complaining that they weren't being used. And now they're tag team champions. Yeah, they may be tag team champions, but they certainly aren't looking like tag team champions on Monday Night Raw. They debut them against DIY. They put them in the ring with Ricochet and Aleister Black. Yeah, they're NXT guys, which I guess is understandable, but I mean, fucking Christ, you could have put Ricochet and Aleister Black in there with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Doesn't have to be the fucking tag team champions. So they haven't looked like tag team champions at all. And I feel like the Revival deserves so much better, man. You're just holding these guys back immensely, and it sucks to see. And WWE, if they play their cards right, they could have the best tag team division in all of space and time, like Matt Hardy says. Really. But Matt Hardy, going back to Matt Hardy, the Woken gimmick was never going to get over in WWE. It was never going to get over in WWE. They half-assed it. Yeah, it had glimpses of greatness. We had glimpses of what it could be if WWE really put their effort into making Matt Hardy a legit singles character. And I'm looking back on it, and I'm like, well, if WWE is going to go halfway on this, and they're not going to go 100%, then don't even do it. Just leave it for Matt to kind of do in between. He can kind of go in and out of the Woken moment. He still does delete. He still does the whole mimic and the whole hand gesture, and he does the voice. He breaks in and out of it. Just keep it like that. If they're not going to go 100% with it, then why even bother doing it? And to be honest with you, I'm not even upset about it. Because I know it wasn't a WWE thing. They didn't really embrace it like we all did. By the time Matt Hardy got to the WWE after the Anthem lawsuit, it was pretty much dead anyway. The longer you waited, the less people became interested. The less people didn't want to wait anymore. You know? Well, the more people didn't want to wait anymore. So Matt Hardy now being back with Jeff wasn't doing anything on SmackDown Live. He was another proverbial loser. He wasn't going to get singles gold. This is the best use of both Jeff and Matt, and they're needed more in the tag team division than they are individually. With all the individuals that they called up from NXT, they don't need another character on the main roster to fill a solo role. This is where Matt fits best. I am okay with this because it gives him and Jeff a priority now over what they were doing single. They didn't have a priority. Now they have a priority, and they're better together anyway. Yes, it may feel like nostalgia, and it may wear off, and you may get the feeling of, like, the Hardys, they're old, and, how special are they really now? If WWE books them correctly, they could certainly be special. I know they're limited in what they could do. They're not going to be flying off ladders and fucking falling through tables every match, but WWE has to book them in a manner, and Jeff and Matt have to really sit down and try and tell a great story in the ring instead of being what we want them to be, but they can't do it anymore. I think this is a great move. So Matt Hardy's Woken gimmick is no more. You'll see it dip in and out, but Matt Hardy is back to being the Hardy Boys with Jeff. So I think that's the best role for them now. When did WWE decide to extend Matt Hardy's contract? Well, Dave Meltzer talked about this on The Observer Live. The surprising thing about the Hardys' comeback is the fact that Matt Hardy openly said that he will be a free agent in a matter of days leading up to his contract coming up. However, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Live, the Woken one was working us all. He says, and I quote, "So I know he was teasing, but he's going to be a free agent in like a week." This was last week. But WWE had already picked up the option for a third year, and he knew that a ways back. End quote. Matt was always working everybody with cryptic talk and being comfortable about leaving WWE. This is what he was stating on social media. You never know what the Hardy Boys will be doing in WWE right now as far as the tag team, but it was certainly a huge highlight for their return on SmackDown Live. So it is what it is, man. Like I said, this is the best role for both Matt and Jeff at this current time in the WWE landscape. WWE brought in Dana Warrior for a creative team role. Why? You don't have enough creative roles? You can't do anything right with the amount of people you got now. What the fuck is Dana Warrior going to do for Monday Night Raw? WWE is changing up a lot of things backstage and bringing in some people that you might not think would be in certain roles. They got Bruce Pritchard back. Now the company is utilizing Ultimate Warrior's widow, Dana Warrior, in a creative sense as well. Can I throw my name into the fucking hat? Seriously, you want to hire Dana fucking Warrior? Let's get somebody with a fucking brain back there that knows what the fuck they're doing. Pro Wrestling Sheet reports that Dana Warrior has joined the WWE creative team, She reportedly worked with the writers on Raw this week. It is said that Dana Warrior is offering a female perspective on things. Yeah, that's exactly what we fucking need. It was also noted that, and I quote, "We're told the position isn't permanent yet, but if things work out, that would obviously change," end quote. Now, a female perspective on things is great. And I would like to have her in the women's division. Or have her ideas float around for the female side of things for WWE, pertaining to the women's division. I think the men's division is on lockdown. I don't know what Bruce Pritchard has up his sleeve, but I think Dana Warrior, if she is in this role, should find herself into the women's division of all things. Separate some riders. Some people got the main event, some people got the mid-card, some people got the tag team, some people got the women's. It's the way it should be set up. You got your senior officials taking care of the top, and it works its way down. Mid-card, tag team, women's. Obviously overseen by everybody up top, but everybody's got their role. That's the way I would do things. I don't know. But this isn't a permanent position for Dana Warrior, but if things work out, this obviously could change. So there isn't anything that is going on with Dana Warrior that is full-time, but there is always the possibility that it could lead to a new gig for her down the road. Now, obviously, WWE loves Dana Warrior, and she's already a brand ambassador for the company. Therefore, offering a female point of view for WWE television might be something she can offer for the company. Yeah, in the right role and in the right situation. Yes, fine. But as an overall creative writer, I don't know what Dana Warrior is going to bring to the table that someone else has not already brought to the table. I feel like this is just trying now for the sake of trying. WWE is adding where they don't need to add. WWE is going out there and asking for too many helping hands. You know what this fucking tells me? WWE is seeking help from all these different fucking people in some of the most unknown places. It means to me that they can't do their job fucking correctly, that they have to go out there and get all these fucking second-rate fucking bums to do creative writing. Dana Warrior, to me, this just sounds like desperation. I don't know what it says to you guys, but to me, I don't feel like this is needed in the least. I don't think this is needed at all. So Dana Warrior is in a creative team role. I'm sure you and I could do a better job than fucking Dana Warrior. I wish WWE would do a good fucking job about making sense of some things, man. Sonya Deville complains about women's tag team title match at Fastlane. You and me both, honey. Sonya Deville has voiced her opinions on the upcoming women's tag team championship match, which will take place at Fastlane. Deville and Mandy Rose were a part of the Elimination Chamber match in February to crown inaugural champions. Now, while they came up a bit short, they managed to put on a very good showing with Sasha Banks and Bayley, with many fans feeling that they deserve the chance to challenge for the belts sometime this year. However, with Tamina and Nia being awarded the opportunity at the upcoming pay-per-view, it seems like Fire and Desire will have to wait a little bit longer for their chance. Now, many fans have commented on how far Sonya and Mandy have come over the course of the last year or so, to the point where they're considered to be amongst the best performers in the entire women's division. I wouldn't go that far, but they have improved. I think some people like to embellish just a little bit. You know, if you add too much pepper to the pasta sauce, it's not going to be good, man. It's perfectly seasoned the way it is. Just leave it alone. You don't need to embellish so much. Some of the best that the women's division has to offer? Really? Yeah, Mandy Rose has come a long way, man. I was one of her first detractors when she was in NXT. When they brought her up, I'm like, here we go. Eva Marie all over again. Man, she proved me wrong. I think Mandy Rose has really come into her own. I think she's on her way to being very good. Now, Sonya Deville, I haven't seen a lot of Sonya Deville, man. I want to see more of Sonya Deville. I want to see more of what we got at the Elimination Chamber. I don't think she's been given the opportunity to do that. But to call them two of the best? Now, you save the best phrase for Becky and Charlotte and Asuka. Nobody else fits into that mold yet. So just leave it alone. Or Ruby Riott even. Even Ember Moon. They're not even in that league yet. Baby steps, please. Baby steps. Now, unfortunately, neither woman have been able to capture championship gold just yet, but it feels like there's going to come a time where they both have championship gold, whether it's tag team or singles. With WrestleMania being right around the corner, their fans are understandably eager to see them being featured in a big-time match, but we're not convinced that's going to happen. If they don't end up facing Sasha Banks and Bayley, the current champions, then they'll almost certainly be inserted into the Women's Battle Royal, although that has yet to be formally announced. That's not necessarily a bad spot for them, and it could end up vaulting them into a higher position on the card after WrestleMania. No, they have every right to complain. Because realistically, and I don't want to yell here, but what the fuck has Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka done for a tag team title match coming out of the Elimination Chamber? They were eliminated. They were gone. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were the last team in that Elimination Chamber. This match was announced on Monday Night Raw. A Monday Night Raw that was spearheaded by Roman Reigns. A Monday Night Raw that's seen The Rock's mother and The Rock's daughter and Roman's family in the crowd. So why the fuck not? You gotta give to one Samoan, you gotta pander to one Samoan, you gotta pander to the other Samoan. That's all it was. Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka got a tag team title match because it fit the moment and it fit the initiative on Monday Night Raw. Bullshit. Nia Jax is fucking horrendous at what she does. I don't want to see her in a ring now or then or anytime. She's garbage. Tamina Snuka, please. This Funko Pop of Kenny Omega is a better wrestler than fucking Tamina Snuka. Give me a fucking break. What have they done? Nothing. They were there on Monday Night Raw because the Samoan family, the Samoan dynasty, was on Monday Night Raw. That's why they got a fucking title shot. They haven't even built up any other fucking tag team to put up against Sasha Banks and Bayley. I'd even take Vanessa Bourne and fucking Aaliyah in NXT over Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. And they're fucking just as terrible. Come on, man. I don't understand. No, that'll put Mandy Rose in a match with Asuka that she's ultimately going to lose at Fastlane. So you really couldn't do that. Asuka needed an opponent. Whose fault is that? WWE failed to give Asuka any meaningful meaningful competition, and this is the end result. Instead of booking up or booking correctly a Nikki Cross or someone along those lines, or having Natalya come over to SmackDown Live, being that we got Charlotte just fucking invading Monday Night Raw whenever she wants. You had multitudes of options that you could have put up against Asuka at Fastlane. You could have did the Lacey Evans thing, right? You could have Lacey Evans fucking debut in the ring already, well before this, and have her win a few matches and chime in that she wants a championship match. But no, you got her coming out waving like a fucking idiot, which is already completely garbage and nauseating, and it's channel-inducing, channel-changing garbage. I don't understand this company. Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka get a tag team title match because of who they are. There you go. Sonya Deville's complaining. She has every right to fucking complain. It should be both Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose for the tag team championships at Fastlane. No question. Now, speaking of NXT, Sasha Banks and Bayley were in NXT. Speaking of NXT, EC3, who also came from NXT, could be in the WWE doghouse already. I don't know why. But WWE taped 2 matches before Raw this week for main event. AOP's Razor defeated No Way Jose, but the next result will have people scratching their heads. EC3 was booked to lose to Apollo. He has not been seen on Monday Night Raw in a couple of weeks after losing to Dean Ambrose. This has to make you wonder if EC3 is in the doghouse with WWE management, since he is one of the names many expected would get a big push because he is someone who checks off many of the things that Vince McMahon likes. EC3's last Raw appearance was on 2/11, and it was a loss to Dean Ambrose. He has wrestled on some live events and was booked to beat Ty Dillinger on a couple of shows, but he has also lost matches to Shelton Benjamin as well. Might as well fucking wrap him up and send him back to Impact Wrestling. The guy is absolutely fucking worthless. They have made him absolutely worthless right now. This is how WWE can kill someone in the blink of an eye. First of all, you bring him up with no plan. Then you don't really debut him in a segment or anything on the show. You got video packages being shown for like 6-7 weeks. He finally makes his presence on TV and he says nothing. Week after week after week, we see these NXT call-ups and he's standing there doing this, and he's doing this, and he's flexing, and he's on moment of bliss, and he raises the microphone to his hand and he says nothing. He gets interrupted. Then he goes out and loses to Dean Ambrose. He beats Dean Ambrose in week 1, and then WWE, right the next week, turns around and has Dean Ambrose beat him in a rematch, only to have Dean Ambrose lose in 3 minutes to Drew McIntyre. What? Why? Did anybody realize how damaging that was? It's bad enough the guy's not fucking speaking. He's a fucking mime. He's a mute. He's got no vocal cords. But he beats Dean Ambrose in his debut and loses to Dean Ambrose the next week in the same amount of time it took to beat him by a fluke roll-up. And then Dean Ambrose goes to lose to Drew McIntyre after a Claymore kick in 3 minutes. And then you wonder why EC3 is going to amount to nothing on the main roster. I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking pathetic. He didn't do anything in NXT to really warrant interest from me, but I just feel sorry for the fucking guy. Hey, I'm back in WWE. Look, I built this career for myself. They don't give a fuck. They look at you as Derek Bateman. And they look at Derek Bateman, who was released or cut or fired, whatever, from the WWE, went to TNA, made a name for himself, and WWE is now getting back at you for leaving and going and making a name for yourself on someone else's dime, only to come back and think that you were going to garner the same amount of success in WWE the second time around that you did in Impact Wrestling. You gotta be fucking kidding me, EC3. That's exactly what they did. Oh, weren't you that Derek Bateman? Oh, yeah. Catering. Yeah, you look great. You got charisma. You got some wrestling skill. You got some decent mic skill. Catering. Like they fucking have the checklist, right? Checking them off. Yeah, looks. Yep. They got the charisma. Yep. Mic skill. Yep. Weren't you Derek Bateman from NXT? Yep. Catering. We'll make you a senior staff member of catering. Make sure you use the proper fork and knife. And make sure it is paper and not plastic. Who gives a shit? Was EC3 going to amount to anything on the main roster? On top of that, they already called up Ricochet, Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. So everybody that was already called up before them is now pushed down the card even further. So great job there, WWE. We're really pleased on how you book NXT talent coming up from NXT. And he may be the quickest of them all to be buried. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This guy was done in 2 weeks. He's in the same class as Nikki Cross. So you can join the list of everybody else that was fucking ruined. Ember Moon, Asuka, Finn Balor, Heavy Machinery, AOP, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn. The list goes on and on. The list goes on and on, man. EC3 in the doghouse? Yeah, probably. But for no reason of his doing. He wanted to go out there and wrestle, and then he came back, and all they seen was Derek fucking Bateman. WWE Hall of Famer Howard Finkel is in said shape, said condition, and this was reported on the King, Jerry the King Lawler's Dinner with the King podcast, that Finkel actually suffered a serious stroke, and the news is not good at all. The Wrestling Observer newsletter described how Howard Finkel's situation right now is a really sad story. Finkel is loved throughout the WWE universe, and his voice announced a multitude of legends to the ring during his time as a WWE ring announcer. Finkel was eventually replaced by Lillian Garcia, who is no longer in the role of WWE ring announcer either. And our best goes out to Howard Finkel, his friends, his family, and everybody here on Off the Script, man. This is a sad situation, man. I don't like that I'm being kept in the dark, or that we're being kept in the dark about this situation. I wish somebody would come out and publicly state what's happening here. You know? Howard Finkel he's in that same category with Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura. You could even go back to Vince McMahon as a commentator, man. You go back to those guys and those voices. Those are voices that will forever be in my childhood, man. Fink is right there in that category, in that class. You know, when you talk about, I'm just talking about just like a Mount Rushmore of voices in pro wrestling. You know, if I was to come up with a Mount Rushmore, it's probably very difficult to do. But I wasn't around before. I wasn't around in the time before the Heenans and the Gorilla Monsoons. So your opinion might be a little bit different than mine. But if I was to do a Mount Rushmore right now for voices of WWE all time in the history of WWE, it would be Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, Jim Ross, and Howard Finkel. Howard Finkel, just like Bobby the Brain. You know, it's tough because, you know, Mean Gene was always there. Mean Gene is one of the most iconic voices ever. You know? I'll fucking pay money to fucking carve another slot on Mount Rushmore and include a fifth. And you're going to put Mean Gene Okerlund in there. But man, the similarity between all of those guys is that they own a huge part of not only our heart, but a reason that we all love this business. Howard Finkel is a voice that resonates even today. You go back and watch anything on the WWE Network, man. Literally, nobody brought a big fight feel to a match before the bell rung like Howard Finkel. The way he announced some guys, the way he announced what the match was and what championship the match was for, whether it's the Intercontinental Championship, the WWF Championship, when the match was over and a new champion was crowned, the excitement in Howard Finkel's voice when he had to make the announcement of, you know, and new. That's him. We get the and new from Howard Finkel. He coined that. He made that special and what it is today when we use the hashtag on social media, and new. It's all Howard Finkel. He is a voice, just like Bobby the Brain Heenan, just like Gorilla Monsoon, just like Mean Gene, Jesse Ventura, Vince McMahon in his commentator days. These are voices that I'm going to familiarize my son or daughter with when they grow up and they're old enough to understand. This is how it was done. This is what Daddy grew up on. These are the guys that I want you to familiarize yourself with, because nobody, as far as Jim Ross, Howard Finkel, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Mean Gene, nobody ever will even come close to what any of those characters and personalities did for WWE television. Ever. Nobody will ever. That's the one thing that they could fucking just look down upon us and just be content with. No one is even going to come close to doing what they did. No one. We all dream and aspire to be like that. There are people now that have similarities and little quirks to them that makes you think of Bobby the Brain Heenan, but nobody's even going to come close to what Howard Finkel or someone like Howard Finkel can do. Nobody. Like, I love Mike Rome. I think Mike Rome is a great ring announcer. I really do. And who we got on television now? JoJo. JoJo's not even there anymore. They got Mike Rome doing the announcing on Monday Night Raw. They got, who else they got? They got Kayla Braxton doing NXT. That's not a fucking ring announcer. Yeah, she's hot. Yeah, she's a good interviewer. She's better in the interviewer role, but nobody resonates like Howard Finkel does. Justin Roberts was great at what he did too. And the stories that Justin Roberts told just in his autobiography or clips of him just going on several podcasts, how Vince dumbed down or wanted the announcing to be dumbed down because he felt like it took away from the match. What type of mentality is that? The announcer is supposed to make you fucking excited for the match. He's supposed to give the match a big fight feel. And Justin Roberts is telling the story of how Vince wanted him to say certain things and not to be overexcited. He wanted him to be very monotone. to dumb it down. I would hate to live in an environment, in a work environment like that. Or I would hate to be around people that want to take away from me and what I'm capable of doing. You're asking me to give 50% of 100%? Is that what you're telling me? Howard Finkel, his voice, man, I can't tell you how special Howard Finkel's voice is. Honestly. It's just one of those things, man. You listen to him and it just fucking brings back instant childhood when you hear him. Really. The days of Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, you know, Ted DiBiase. Even when Howard Finkel announced the Royal Rumble, man, the way he went over the rules right before the Royal Rumble, man, nobody even does that anymore. Nobody did it like Fink. Nobody did it like Fink. You know? Go back and watch some of those old Royal Rumbles. He runs down the rules of the Royal Rumble, and then he goes into his whole spiel. And now, let's all find out who drew number one. It's fucking... No, man, Howard Finkel, man. That's such a fucking shitty situation. You know? It's unbelievable. Massive stroke. We don't know anything else besides that. I know there were reports that he was overweight, and I think one of the few times that we've seen him, one of the last times we've seen him in the WWE, he was at a WrestleMania. I don't remember which one it was, but he needed massive help getting in and out of the ring because he was just overweight and he couldn't do it on his own anymore. You know, with Raw 25, he wasn't even there. He wanted to be there. I don't even think he was there due to his health. And when The Undertaker came out at the Manhattan Center, they had a voice clip of Howard Finkel announcing The Undertaker coming to the ring. You know, it was in 2018 they did that. It just sucks, man. Howard Finkel, man, I hope we find out more situation. I hope this takes a turn for the better. I really hope we get him back in good health, man. That would be way too soon to lose someone like that. One of the most iconic voices of all time, man, Howard Finkel. Anyway, man, I'm getting out of here. My stomach is absolutely fucking killing me right now, man. I got this tightness in my stomach. I don't know what the fuck I gotta do, man. Jesus Christ. Bad situation here, man. I'm hoping to be good for the WWE house show in Atlantic City, and I will be hopefully good enough to get you a part 3 on Sunday because I have a lot of news on Kofi Kingston. I got a lot of news on Kofi Kingston. Just a glimpse as to what I got coming up, man. Kofi Kingston, right now, all you Kofi Kingston fans, you should not be worried, man. I got news on when Vince McMahon decided to switch Kofi for Kevin Owens at Fastlane. I got news on why Vince McMahon pulled Kofi Kingston from Fastlane and Kofi Kingston releasing a heartfelt statement about being replaced and the current plan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Kofi Mania ain't going away, people. If you're a fan of Kofi Mania, a fan of Kofi Kingston, you should look at this as nothing but a positive. Also, Sami Zayn is slated to return, and I got devastating news on Tommaso Ciampa. Apparently, he has a neck injury and is suffering from a neck injury that is worse than people realize, or worse than what is being reported, which is not a good thing right now, man. That fucking sucks. So we'll go over all that on part 3 of the podcast, man. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. Please go and check out Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Use our unique link. What you're going to do here is the following. You're going to go to audibletrial.com/offthescript. You're going to download the app on your phone or Android devices. You're going to go through the sign-up process. You're going to choose one free audiobook because they're going to give you one free audiobook of your choice, and you're going to be on your way to browsing Audible free for 30 days. And like I said, they're going to give you one free audiobook of your choice. This is the best part, man. If you don't feel Audible's for you, you can cancel at any time in the 30-day grace period and still get to keep your audiobook for free. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. A lot of people listening to Audible or audiobooks or podcasts. So make sure you guys do that, man. It's a great time killer, whether you're at work or at school, on lunch, whatever the case may be, man. Whether you're doing chores around the house, Audible is great. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys go and support them. Harrys.com/script for your free trial. JD's Elite on bonfire.com. Link is down in the description of this very video. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. That is both JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys go and check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week. A lot of content on there for you, man. Keep yourself entertained this weekend. And I will see you all on part 3 of Off the Script, man. Thank you guys so very much. Hit that thumbs up. And hopefully I'll see some of you in Atlantic City on Saturday night for the WWE House Show. If not, I'll see you guys on Sunday for part 3 of Off the Script. Until then, take care. I'll talk to you guys later.